Okay, Sean. So, what have we been doing for like the last 5 hours? 6 hours? 7 hours? I don't know.
Off and on all day, you mean?
Yeah, in between jobs. We still managed to make money today somehow, although we spent a lot of time working at this project. I'll show you what we got going on. Take her easy there, Bubbles. How do I flip this around? Alright, so on the bench here we've got our X008U, which is the new Alpine piece, the 8-inch. Fantastic, looks amazing in the dash. We wanted to pair it up with this processor, but the problem we were having is if we do an optical cable from this guy, we can't control the volume. Even if you have the Rux, you can still control the volume using the knob, which is great, but I don't want to have this mounted to the dash. I want to be able to control the volume from here. Here.
Or steering wheel controls.
Or the steering wheel controls. So what we've gone and done is we've run wires inside this head unit, which tap into the multiplex wires of these guys here. So actually all 5 of these switches are on one line. So if I push this, let's say it gives you 1 volt, 1.5, and 2 volts, and so on. So we've tapped into those lines. We've used the factory connector that's on the back of this radio. That way it keeps the install seamless. And then we've got an Arduino here, which is kind of deciphering all of that speech. So this is the wire coming from the head unit itself. Excuse the mess going on here. It's just a prototype phase. And then what's going on now is this kind of figures out what's happening, and then it sends that information to this infinity switch to be able to change the volume up and down. But we've gone one further. We've also given us the mute button, which is kind of nice to have. So if I push this, it'll also send mute to the Rux, which sends it to the processor. So being able to quickly mute is kind of awesome. Considering what kind of system that we're actually putting in this. It's going to be loud, and there's going to be a point where you're like, ah, man, just need to shut it down. Bam. So we had a couple problems, and some of the problems were having this factory spin switch being able to operate at the same time is giving us this. And the reason being is that when you put the switch in certain positions, it grounds both of the terminals. And then if I put it in another position, both of the terminals are now open. So what we've got going on here is a logic gate using using a metric fuck ton of transistors.
Yeah.
For now. So if I have a negative going in, I'm going to have a negative going out. And if I have a negative going in from the Arduino, I'm going to have a negative going out. But if both are showing negative, I'm going to have nothing going out, which is kind of what we need. That way we can operate both of these switches at the exact same time. So if I move this forward 1 click, and I move this forward 1 click, they will both work.
What was happening, and which is kind of the frustrating part, because I've been doing the programming of the actual Arduino, because I stay away from that stuff, I handle the code. Was when you leave the volume control on, one of, say, position 1 and 3 of the possible 4, it would kind of flip back and forth, it would glitch, and the buttons themselves would get caught up and think it was going the wrong direction. It's been a long evening trying to get that to work right.
Yeah. And, oh yeah, so we also have these multiplex buttons here. So you can see I've got our resistors in series, and they're referencing the 5 volt line coming off of the Arduino. That's just for now, but these will actually be our steering wheel controls. And the really cool thing is we can not only control the volume up and down using our steering wheel controls, we can also use the center, which is the OK button. So we can change the subwoofer from there up and down, and then we can continue going through to some of the other options. And then there's also a back button. So If I did go into one of the menus, so we can hit function, and then from the steering wheel controls we can actually go through and physically change some of these functions and going into them, and then with the back button right here you can go back out, and all that's going to be able to be done completely from the steering wheel, which is awesome. And we decided to put this thing inside this console right here, which goes on the top center of the dash, so when you pop it up, yeah, here's the shell. Fail. Fail. There we go. So when you pop it up, it should look something like that. I might do some fiberglass around it, make it look really pretty. Yeah, so that's been our project for today. Pretty sweet. It would have been really nice if Alpine kind of considered the install on this and just made it work through the AI net or some other means. I don't know. As far as I know, you can communicate a lot of information through an optic cable. Why they couldn't send some sort of digital signal just to tell it volume up or down? Something, anything. Give me a bone.
I got nothing. Or, I don't know, retain the volume control in a digital output from the radio.
So anyways, tell us what you guys think. Thanks.